Oh my goodness. It is the holidays. Yes, it is. And just checking my equipment out because it's over there and I'm over here and want to make sure I'm talking to you because it is the holidays and I want to say a very special thank you for all of you who have come to visit me this past year. It's been a real joy to share with you. Make sure you make comments when you come and visit me because I love to hear from you and I want to hear from you more often. So, you know, let me know what it is you like, what you don't like. I can do things specifically the way that people want them if I only know, and I do need to know. Anyway, one of the things I want to say to all of you is I hope you are enjoying this season. I know it's stressful for many. It's been a real month for me. I've had a granddaughter in the hospital. I've had a sister-in-law in the hospital, um, a son with surgery. So life goes on. And tomorrow is the holidays. We're expecting snow, so it'll be kind of a fun thing for the little ones. But one thing I want to say to all of you is whatever you're celebrating, whether it's Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or Christmas, I just want you to enjoy the season and to spend it with family and friends and those people that you love. And I hope you can count me amongst them. So, anyway, one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about today is New Year's Eve. And if you're like me and you don't go out on New Year's Eve and you just kind of hang out at home, there's a wonderful event coming up. Yay, events. Let's have fun. CeECee and Heather are going to do a New Year's Eve get together on Google. So be sure and check up above with the little iCards and find out all about it. And come and join us because I want to spend New Year's Eve with my friends, just like I want to spend Christmas and the whole holiday season with my friends and family. So um, that's something I wanted to let you know about. The other thing is I'm going to quickly run over some things about foil. I had been watching Julie Faith Ann Bowser, and one of the things I this is my well-loved address book. Can you see it? Can you see the binding on this? Can you see that there is no binding on this because it's been well loved? I've been carrying this thing for probably about 5 years. And that's because I'm lazy and don't want to transfer all that information to a new book. But I'm going to try to give that some new life. So, with that said, happy holidays, everybody, and let's go down here and see what's going on. Okay, so this is experiment number 1. What I did is I took a piece of foil. This is art emboss foil, and I ran it through with the stencil on my Big Shot machine. You can see that it left an impression on the metal. So now I'm going to come in and take some mixative and alcohol ink and some blending solution, and leaving the stencil in place, I'm going to apply it to those areas that are still exposed. Oops. Okay, my hands are not working today. Here we go. Yay. Okay, little blending solution here. And here we go. I have no idea what this is going to turn out like. This, like I said, this is experiment number 1. I am at play, and you know how much I love play, so we'll see how this turns out. I just thought I would darken those other areas and show the contrast by putting some alcohol ink on. Okay, so I don't know if you can see it, but you can see I've got a good coating on there. Now we'll do the reveal. Oh yeah. So that's real pretty. Okay. So that's one thing that I could use on the surface of a book. And in order to clean this, I'm just going to take a wipe, and I have some 91% alcohol in a squirt bottle, and I'm just going to use that for cleanup. It comes right off. Should have had that on a piece of paper. That would have been pretty. Okay. And that was potting soil and gold mixative and alcohol blending solution. And the stencil is from Kite Stencils, which is Judikins. It's KS022 Peacock Feathers. Okay. Now, the next thing I want to try is something a little bit different. I had put some, what do they call this stuff? Stick it on the back of this piece. So I can run it through the embossing machine, and I'll show you what I did initially. I have my big shot here. Let me go out a little bit. Okay, so I have my big shot, and I'm going to put this one. I want to do a little bit differently because I want to push it into, let's see, I want the leaves raised, but I want the leaves to be green. So in order to do that, I need to push this down. You see how my thinking is going? Okay, so I'm going to put this down this way. That'll push everything else up. Then I'm going to put a rubber mat, embossing mat on top of that. I'm slipping around here. Let's try this a little bit. Position better. Okay, get that on there. Put on my rubber mat. And I'm using this is an embossing plate. Now this one is hard. You can see that this one is hard. They also make a rubber one that is for creasing. So like if you have a die that does creases, that's the one you would use. But this one is for embossing because it's hard. The other one is soft or malleable. So here we go. We'll run this through. Yeah, one pass should be enough. I was thinking about running it back again, but put that alcohol over there out of the way. Take this off. And now I have sticky on the back. I have my leaves are, shouldn't have done that. I should have had a smoother piece underneath here because if you can see there's little lines in there, but that's not a big deal. So then, now that I have this, I have the impression on my foil, and I can do the same thing that I did with this one and apply some inks or sand or do something different to the surface. So that's how we do that one. All right, now what I want to do, I have more stencils here, and this is one from a pack of stencils that I got, and it has an all-over design. I like that. I like this one in particular. I think this is a Hero Arts, but I think let's do the all-over because what I want to do with this one is I'm going to take some, this is just like carpet tape, okay? And I'm going to cut some pieces of this tape. Sorry, I'm going to have to move this out of the way so you guys can see. I'm going to cut some pieces of this tape. And it's sticky on the one side, which is what I want. Let me put this down first. I'm going to apply the stencil to the tape. And I don't want foreign objects in there, of course. And get another piece here. And what I want is foil, which is this stuff. These are foil sheets. They come in a roll, and they're on a backer. The color is stuck to the tape is what it is. Yeah. Don't you love moments like this when you're trying to videotape? I do. I know I do. Okay. So take that foil, and I'm going to put it down. I don't like that piece. That's where the tape was, of course. Okay, we'll use that someplace else later. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to apply it right over the other tape. Okay? And I'll cut that off. Oops. And we have 2 more pieces to go. That's 1. This is number 2. And I'm going to change this plate out because it's had a few cuts in it. This one's a little bit better. Put that in there. Put this down on my piece. I'm going to put my embossing rubber over the top of that, and then my black CEECEE embossing plate, and we will run that through the machine. Okay, so you can see now that what I have is it's down in these impressed areas where the tape is, but remember the stencil is still underneath there. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside. And I'm going to come back to the tape on top. I'm going to peel the tape. And you can see some areas where, oh, I guess that's okay. Kind of stuck to the stencil a little bit. So I'm just going to rub that off. Yeah, looking pretty good. Now, don't discard this. This has some nice impressions on it. So this you can use on your journal page, you know, someplace else. So find something to do with that. So I'm going to pull this one back. And another one. Okay, and then I'm going to rub that excess that's stuck to the stencil, because I don't want that getting in those other areas, off, if I can get a hold of it without ruining everything. I suggest you put some kind of release agent on there, which I didn't figure out because I'm experimenting. Okay. It will come. It's just a little more of a struggle. You know, maybe some wax or anything to help it release. I was touting daddy bands for other things. Maybe on the back of your stencil. Okay, almost done. There we go. Okay, so now I have this piece. Let me see if I can get closer here. Okay, so can you see the shine and the design? And I'm going to take this foil something to hold that down. Let me get a piece of washi here. Boy, tape is not cooperating today. Watch Peg take the tape off the roll. Okay. Alright. Got a piece of washi. Going to stick this down. And then I'll stick the other side down. Maybe we can get on with the show. Okay. Now I have this. And you see it's got a side that looks like this and a side that looks like this. This is what I want on the top side. So I'm going to bring this over here, put it down on my design, rub that in real well. And we're just going to do what we did before, which is to layer this onto the tackiness of the tape. So let's see what we get. See if there's enough contrast between the two that you can see it. Gold would have been pretty with that blue too. But we'll see. Okay. I think that's good. Alright, so now what I want to do is burnish that really well. So I'm going to take a mat that's got some give to it. And I'm going to take a bone folder or anything like that to burnish this down, because I want it to stick to those areas that don't have foil on it already. Let's see how we're doing. Oh yeah, it's sticking. See what we're getting here. Can you guys see that? Can you see the contrast between the two of them? Okay. Let me finish burnishing. Oops, don't want to tear it all up. Got everything stuck to it. Okay, let's see how we're doing. Okay, there's this piece. Let's see if I can show it to you on a piece of dark card. Okay, and here's what we're getting on here. So I'm going to continue to pull this, and there are still a few little places where the foil did not stick. That's okay. So what I have now is some pearl powder. I think this is Pearl X most likely. And let's see if I can get a better view here for you. There are some areas here that didn't pick up the foil. So because these have a shimmer, I'm going to come in with the pearl powder. This is kind of a silvery, and I'm just going to take, this is a Perfect Pearls brush from Ranger. I'm just going to pick up some of that and drop it into these areas to fill it in, take away the tackiness, and add a little shimmer. Not that we don't have bling going on already. Now you could also come in with those pieces that we pulled off and, you know, burnish it more. You could take these pieces that still have some on it, and you can come in and just, you know, burnish it down in those spots and try and get it to stick. But there's not a lot of stick left there, so I'm just getting rid of any of the stickiness that's still left on here by putting these Perfect Pearls onto the surface. And you can take your time and try some of the things like the release. See if that assists what you're doing in any way. I'm going to take a big brush. This one is pretty soft. This one's a little bit softer. And spread. And then finish cleaning that from my surface. Don't breathe any of this as you're doing this. And then I'm going to take a baby wipe, pick up any excess off of here. Okay? So then this can become a new cover. This is that little address book. This can become a new cover for my address book. Wouldn't that be pretty? And I'll have something back here now for a binding. I may go ahead and put an extra piece of binding on that to cover it all up. Okay, so that's another way to do your foiling. Okay, so one last little foiling tip for today. What I have here is the foil tape sheets from Ranger, and I ran one of these through the die machine with this stencil. And then what I did is I came back with the stencil still on there, and I put some two-way mono adhesive onto the raised areas. Now I'm going to go back. This goes on white, and when it's dry, it dries tacky. And so I'm going to place this back over, if I could see it better. Excuse me, losing my voice. Okay, I'm going to place this back over my foil. And where the glue is exposed here, I'm going to put some more, or a different foil on top. This is some loose leaf foiling. And I'm going to put this onto the tacky surface. So I'll lay that down, and I need one more little piece here for the bottom. And so what I want it to do now is to adhere to that mono adhesive that's down there. So I'm just going to rub it in to that glue. And hopefully when I lift all of this, I can lift the stencil and the remaining foil, and the glue will have held. We'll take a peek here and see if that was dry enough. I get impatient. Imagine that, me impatient. Okay, so I'm going to lift. I'll lift the corner and see if we are adhering. It looks like we are in some areas. Some areas not so much. Where the fine detail work is, you may have to come back into some of those finer detail areas. And let's see, do I have, if you have a stipple brush or a stencil brush, that might be the thing to use there. Should have, yeah, here we go. Here's a stencil brush. So I'm going to try to work some of that down into those finer detail areas. See if we can get them coated. Okay. How are we doing? Oh yeah, that's looking pretty good. Now it looks like we have a little bit Klingon problem here. So I'll just go back in. Try not to rough it up too much, but clear some of that away. don't want it to stick in between. And then you can put a sealant over the top of that. Excuse me. Let me get some of this dust out of here. Put a sealant over the top of that because, you know, you probably want to varnish or something, because the foil will not hold up as well as some other surfaces, so you want to seal that, especially if you're going to put anything else into your piece. So you can see what we've created. We have several pieces of foiling here. This is that first one that we did with the peacock feather. This is done with the foil tape. This one over here was one that I had done. I actually put some pouring medium on top of that, so it's drying. That's why it looks like that. And then this one is the last one that we did, and I just have a little bit of cleanup work to do on there. But you can see how reflective and beautiful that foiling is on there, and with that embossing. Really makes an elegant statement. Now, this looks like a mess, like you're not going to be able to clean it up, but I'm going to tell you that I have used erasers on these stencils, and it will pull that stuff right off. So don't fear, you can save your stencils, you can wash them, you can use an eraser on there, and it will clean up. You can see how this corner is starting to clean up already. So that's all I have to share for you today. Have a wonderful holiday. Really have enjoyed this year, and hopefully we will get together again before the new year rings in. Bye.